Hey guys, in this video I'd like to talk a little bit about going to law school with a baby, to give a piece of advice and a little bit about my own experience. So this is an example of one of my textbooks. Here's a case, Friends of the Old Man River Society versus Canada. Actually, it's not versus Canada here in Canada, we can say and. Friends of the Old Man River in Canada. So you're reading through this, and you get some sentence like, here, though we are dealing with a directive that is not merely authorized by statute, but one that is required to be formally enacted by order and promulgated under Section 6 of the Department of the Environment Act with the approval of the Governor and Council. That's in striking contrast with the usual internal ministry policy guidelines intended to control public servants under the minister's authority. You can probably tell from the kind of language in it that it can be kind of technical, often boring or dry, and sometimes you come across these sentences that are like, you don't even understand them. You read the sentence like 6 times and you can't understand what it's saying because it's so dense and technical. And so, of course, it can be very time consuming to read hundreds of pages of this kind of text. But you got to keep that in context too. Because at the end of the semester, at the end of the year, it's important to boil down the entire court case into like a few sentences. So here's an example of what a page of my notes will look like at the final exam. So you see this little section here. This is an entire court case. So like say 8 pages all summarized into a line. So in this case called the Queen versus Clark, that's, I think, an Australian case where a guy was on trial. He was going to be sent to prison, but he knew who actually committed the murder. At the same time, there was a reward being offered for anybody who gave information leading to the conviction of somebody who committed a crime. And so he said, well, so-and-so actually did it. And so he cleared his own name, but he said, well, I'm coming to get my reward now because I gave information leading to the arrest of such and such a person. There's a reward for that. And they said, well, no, you don't get the reward because you weren't acting on the basis of that offer. You were acting in order to clear your own name. So the rule is that acceptance must act on the basis of the offer and rely on the offer. So that's an example of a whole case like summarized into one line. So in this particular class, for example, I think I had about 75 cases summarized there. But on the final exam, you don't even necessarily talk about all these cases. You might only talk about 30 or 40 of them. And so you can imagine spending hours and hours trying to figure out paragraphs in these cases that you don't even use, you don't even get any marks for. And so while it's important to do the readings, and it's important to summarize them, the really important thing is that you can get good marks at the end of the day. If you can walk into an exam and ace it, that's what you're going for. So when you get to the final exam, you see something like this. Mama Smurf got totally drunk. She got in the car with Papa Smurf, intending to shoot him with the handgun she had in her purse. She pulled out the handgun and tried to shoot Papa Smurf, but she missed because she was so drunk, and she shot a dog who was on the side of the road. A woman passing by was so shocked that she had a heart attack and died. Now, analyze the legal issues in this little problem and discuss them. So the actual final exams can be a lot longer than that. Some of them are short, like half a page, others of them are like 20 pages long, but they can kind of seem like out of left field, these crazy, weird stories that you have to analyze. And so the key here is taking practice exams. That's what's important in law school, in my opinion. So this particular website is called Kick the Crap Out of Law School. I'll post a link below. So it's like a really awesome website. Has a short book, you can see there, free ebook, and that's quite a good book as well. But this website, when you register, it walks you through practice exams. So it gives you like a little bit of law, and it gives you like a mini little practice exam. You take the mini practice exam and then you get marked. Like a couple days a week, I'd wake up an hour and a half early, go to school early, write a practice exam, and then go about my ordinary day. Morning classes, lunch hour, go work out for a little while, eat some food, go to afternoon classes, do like an hour and a half of reading or so, and go home and spend time with my family. So it worked out really well for me. So for me in law school, it's not that the baby has been like a burden. Although I do have a lot of support from my wife, who's taking the year on maternity leave right now, and when she goes back to school, the parents-in-law will be taking care of the baby full-time. Like otherwise we would probably need daycare and stuff like that. But it's not that the baby's been a burden, it's that the baby is so much fun, such a joy, that I want to spend time with him more often. And in order to do that, this is a strategy I've developed, taking practice exams early so that when final exams roll around, I'm ready. Like, I know what's up. So I definitely recommend this strategy to anyone who has a baby and planning to go to law school. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, add comments below. For example, I could make videos about why I went into law school, how I wrote the LSAT, stuff like that. So whatever you guys want.